Next, I'm going to add some styles to my divs, and mostly in the area of background color, so I can really see where those divs are positioned on the page. So I'm going to create my first rule, and it's going to be for my header, so I'll make sure that I choose my ID selector, and I'm going to type in the word header. And as I said, right now I'm only concerned with background colors. I can dress the rest of it up later. And I'm going to start with kind of a purple color. And I'll hit the apply button. That looks fine. And I'll click OK. And I'll do another one for my nav. Make sure I choose ID. And then type in nav. And I'll click OK. Go to background. And I'll give it kind of an orange color. I'll click OK. And I'll create a new one for my main. Choose ID, type in main, go to the background color, and make that kind of a blue color. Terrific. And do the last one, which will be my footer. I'll click OK and go to background and choose kind of a green color. Maybe something a little darker. Great. Well, now I have these bright colored stripes, and this really can be helpful when you're initially beginning setting up your divs. Right now I can see I've got some space in between my divs, and those are some additional P tags that came in as a result of my copy pasting. So what I'll do is I'll click inside my first div, and you'll notice down here at the very bottom there's the P tag that I was talking about. I'm going to right click and remove that tag. I'll do that inside the next div as well and remove that tag. And what will happen is the boxes will snug up right next to each other. I'll remove the P down here in the last paragraph, and I'll remove the P here in the last div. And now all my boxes are really flush up against each other. It's a good time to save my work. File save. I'm ready to test in my browser and take a look at it in my browser window. Now my window is open quite wide now, and as I contract the window and expand it, the divs follow the width of the window. The next thing we're going to do is put a wrapper around all of these divs that will contain the width of the page to a 960 pixel width. I'm going to close up my browser window and return to Dreamweaver. I want to select everything on my page, and my favorite way to do that is to go down here to the tag selector and to choose the body tag. This literally chooses everything on the visible page. Now I'm ready to insert a div, and that div will wrap around all 4 of my existing areas. I'll insert the div and again wrap around. Here in the ID field, I'll type in the word wrapper. Now this div is named wrapper, and most web designers name this parent container wrapper, just as I'm doing. And I'll click OK. Now that wrapper appears highlighted, I'll just click on the background to deselect it. I'm ready to style this wrapper. I'm going to go to my CSS panel and create a new rule. Make sure that it says ID and type in the word wrapper, and I'll click OK. Now there's a special formula for setting up a fixed width centered page. I'm going to go to the box category, and I'm going to turn off this margin and set the top to 0, the right to auto, the bottom to 0, and the left to auto. This centers the page inside the browser window. Next, I want to define the width of my wrapper, so I'll set a 960 page width. which happens to be a very common setting for a standard page width. And I'll click OK. Right away we can see the results of my work. I'll go ahead and save my work and test it in a browser window. You'll see that there's a little extra space on the top. And in fact, when programmers program the design of a browser, they build in a little extra space on the top that you're seeing here, as well as on the side. So I'm going to teach you how to remove that, which is a very handy thing to do, especially when you want to control your divs precisely. I'm going to close my browser window, and now I'm back in Dreamweaver. I'm going to go to my body style, double-click on it. I'll go to the box category, and right here where it says padding, same for all, I'll put in a 0. And likewise over here, where it says margin, put in a 0, same for all. I'll hit the apply button, and now I can see how my wrapper pushes all the way up to the top of the page because I've removed that extra padding and margin from the body. I'll click OK, and now that's complete. Next I'm ready to put my header.jpg into place, so I'll drag it right up here into my header div. It wants some alternative text. Classic car association, and put in a period at the end. I'll click OK, and there it appears. Now I no longer need this little bit of extra type at the top. Now I'm ready to set my links. I'll go to Window Properties and bring up my Properties panel, and I'll start by highlighting the word Home and set that to index.htm. The words Blue Chevy, I'm going to highlight both of these words carefully, not to get any extra spaces on either side, and that will go to blue.htm. Then the next one, Red Ford, that will go to red.htm. And the last one, White Jaguar, that will go to white.htm. Now all my links are in place, however my nav bar doesn't look very good. It needs some padding. So I'll go over here to my styles, double click on the nav, and I'll go to the box category, and what I really want to do is put some padding on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to uncheck same for all, give it some padding on the top, maybe about 10, see what that looks like. Good. And now I'll put some padding on the top, on the bottom as well. 10 on the bottom. And I'll apply so I can see what that looks like, and that looks real good. So now I can click OK, and now my nav bar looks a whole lot better. But let's say I want to center my links in the nav bar. I'll go back to the nav bar, open it up again. I can go to the block category, which is kind of a new one. We haven't done that one yet. The block category lets you do a text align. And I'm going to choose Text Align Center, and I'll hit the Apply button, and let's just take a peek. You can see that my links are now centered. I'll click OK. Now you can see my links are too close together. So what I'm going to do next is show you how to customize your links. I'm going to go over here to my styles, create a new rule, and I'm going to choose the compound selector. Once I've done that, I'll go to this little drop down, and it reveals the 4 different states for your links. I'm going to start off with the A link, which represents the regular link state. I'll click OK, and now I get to choose the color I want to pick for my links. Maybe I want my links to be white, so I'll choose white, and I'll see what that looks like. Very good. Now I want to take off my underline, so I'm going to choose Text Decoration None, and I'll see what that looks like. Perfect. Now my links are still way too close to each other, so I'll go to the box category. And here I'm going to control the padding. So I'm going to turn off Same for All, and I'm going to put maybe about 15 pixels on the right and the left of each link. Let me go here, put in 15, and then down to the left and put in 15 and hit the Apply button. And now my links have been separated by 15 pixels on each side. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to see what that looks like in a browser.